So why have I started using AI to dive deeper into my work as a coach? Primarily because I care deeply about my students' results, and I know you care deeply about your students' results too. Inside my Business Visibility Made Easy 8-week group coaching accelerator, I am using AI to help me be a better leader. Inside my BVME alumni mastermind, inside all of my elite one-to-one private coaching calls with my clients, even on information or discovery calls, and even on all the calls I had for my recent launch. I don't want to just show up. I want to evolve. I want to be the best coach I can be because that's what you're paying me for when you hire me. And I know you feel this way too. And here's what I realized. When you coach live, you're thinking fast. You're holding space. You're listening. You're guiding. But later, you forget half the brilliance you brought to the room and you forget the gaps. And especially this was hard for me when I was trying to take handwritten notes. I cannot believe I started this business before AI. How did I do this back in the Stone Age, right? So that's when I decided to start using Fathom to grab transcripts of every single call that I have. And I use the free version of Fathom. And then, but you can use any AI note taker that you want. There's different ones out there. I just chose Fathom because my friends were using it and they said it was easy. I love easy, you know that. So the transcript in Fathom is the gold. It organizes the checklist of action items that my one-to-one clients need to focus on each week, which saves me a ton of time. And honestly, the way it writes the checklist is way more clear and concise than the way I was doing it. When I switched to this method, I was a little nervous because I had some one-to-one clients that have been with me for a long time. And I told them, I said, okay, I'm going to start using the transcript from Fathom from our call to help me create your checklist of action items that I give you after every call. Let me know if you hate this new format. Well, they all agreed, thankfully, that it helped me be more clear and concise, which felt great because I always want to serve my ideal clients in the best way. So what is my step-by-step process? So here's exactly what I do. So you get on Zoom or to record your call, whether it's with your students, a group coaching program, your mastermind, your elite one-to-one clients, even an info discovery call. Then I download the transcript from Fathom. That's it. No fancy setup is required. Then I literally copy that transcript over into ChatGPT. So inside ChatGPT, I use the paid version now, but for a long time I used the free version. I have a project set up for each of the things I'm going to use these calls for. So I have a project set up for Susie Smith, who may be my elite one-to-one client. She has her own project. I have a project set up for my Business Visibility Made Easy student group coaching accelerator. I have a project set up for my Business Visibility Made Easy alumni mastermind. So after each call, I copy the transcript into that project, and then I prompt ChatGPT to analyze it for me. Now, my prompt at the beginning was not a traditional prompt, that people are writing out and making fancy. It was more of, hey, analyze this for me, and how many different ways can you analyze it? So over time, this is what I've come up with. I want it to tell me, what did I do well as a coach? What was the vibe of the whole call? Where could I have been clearer, where could I have been clearer, stronger, or maybe even more direct? What are the blind spots or gaps that this client or student may have that they can't see, and also maybe that I didn't see, because we're not perfect? What objections or fears might be underneath what the student or client is saying? That's big. And what did I need to have that I may have missed? What did they need from me that I may have missed? How could I coach them more powerfully next time based on their personality and the way they do their business? Because every client is different. I've got some clients that are absolute action takers. They dive in with both feet. They say, okay, give me the action steps, and they're just executing. I have other clients that like to spend time processing first and thinking through things first before they make a decision. So I need to know how to navigate those different personalities. And then I love asking it for different themes that could come out of that call. So I will take this a step further and I'll ask ChatGPT, hey, give me, based on this call, give me 2 or 3 great lead magnet ideas that I could use, because the people on this call, you guys know, are my ideal audience. And what better way to craft an offer, whether it's free or paid, but except to have it based on what the audience wants, right? I mean, like, that's a gold mine of information. Also, I ask it, okay, give me 2 or 3 podcast topics that I could talk about on my podcast or on my YouTube channel. And what about a training inside my program? Is there a framework that I could create from this that would benefit everybody that are in my programs? And then here's a fun thing that it did on its own. It asked me if I wanted some coaching sound bites. And I thought, I don't really know what it means, but I'll just say yes. Well, this was really fun. It pulled sound bites from my coaching, just little small snippets of words that I could use as a quote graphic to quote myself, if I wanted to, on social media. How fun is that? So instead of quoting other people, you can make a quote graphic of something that you said and you shared on your coaching call or in your program. And so we want it to be specific. I want ChatGPT to be specific with me. I want it to be strategic with me. I want it to think like a high-level business coach analyzing performance, my performance as a coach, and also the performance and the words and actions and thoughts of my students and clients. That's the prompt. And then I read it and I take notes. And sometimes this thing calls me out, but in the best way. Like, it doesn't feel great for ChatGPT to say, well, what feels great is when it says, this is what you did really well. What doesn't feel so great is like, this is what you could have improved on. And I'm like, but it's making me a better coach and a better leader. So what has it done for me? What has it done for my coaching? And why should you consider this? You guys, my coaching got sharper. It shows me where I softened something that needed to be more direct, where I might have over-explained, where I might have missed an emotional cue when, for example, I'm trying to figure out why one of my clients is creating the DMs but not sending them. ChatGPT helped me uncover there's some fear there. And I was like, oh, I totally missed that part. I just thought maybe she didn't know what to say. Well, it was a combination of she didn't know what to say. But when I solved that for her, she just had this fear coming up of even getting into the DMs. It also helps me see where I could have simplified something. And it also helps me see patterns across students, across the whole program, across the whole mastermind. And that's huge. I see the students' gaps way faster. Like when they say, sometimes a student will say, I just need more visibility. Well, the transcript reveals that fear of rejection, that inconsistent execution, the avoidance that they have, the confusion around the messaging, and it helps me zoom out to really see what's happening, because I think sometimes we are so close to things that it's hard for us to see what's really going on, and that makes my next session with them stronger. And as I talked about, it feeds my content machine. This part I did not see coming at all. Giving me podcast ideas, giving me lead magnet ideas, giving me quote graphics, giving me email ideas, a social media post that I can use to describe what my client was struggling with on our call, obviously not using their real name, and how we worked through that struggle and the solutions I provided and the outcome, so I can showcase my coaching with a real case study on social media. So I'll ask it, I'll take it a step further, that transcript, and I'll say, thank you so much for all this information. Could you write me a social media post that describes the struggle my student was having or client and what we worked through on the call so that I can showcase my skills on social media? Because the real questions that your clients ask, those are the questions your audience is thinking too. Just like we talked about, this is a goldmine of actual information. Instead of having to go out and do traditional market research where we had to go interview people to find out what they wanted, I've got it right here. And this is how I know I can make content that lands. Now, what it did for me in my launches really blew my mind. So during my last launch of Business Visibility Made Easy, you guys know that's my 8-week group coaching accelerator where I teach you how to build an organic visibility ecosystem that consistently drives traffic to your email list and attracts those high-paying clients so you do not have to be online 24/7 and you do not have to buy ads. So in this launch, I was delivering live masterclasses. I teach a masterclass and then I pitch the program. After every masterclass, I took the transcript of it, put it into chat in a specific project for this live masterclass round, and I asked it to analyze it. So in masterclass 2, if we had more conversions that time and more people bought live, I was asking it to compare masterclass 2 to masterclass 1. What made masterclass 2 such a higher converter than masterclass 1? Well, by the time I did 4 live masterclasses, I was getting really good at this. And masterclass 4 converted the best. So I did that. And then also I would take the chat from every masterclass and I would put it into ChatGPT. It told me the warmest leads in the room by name. It told me the questions they asked. It summarized all of it for me so that I could send a DM or a follow-up email that was related to them and what they said in the live masterclass, not just a generic copy and paste that I was sending to everybody, but for them. And then when they would reply back to my email or my DM, it helped me analyze what was going on and come up with a much more thoughtful DM or email to then reply back with to slowly move them through to going to a short Zoom call with me to talk about the program or not. It was helping me move them to a heck no or a heck yes faster, which is what we want. We want people to decide. I want you to be a heck yes or a heck no, right? So, and then for my Q&A calls, I mentioned that for my students, I'm using it that way. So it was such great research for my launches. I couldn't believe it. And it showed me the objections that kept surfacing throughout the launch. Was it time? Was it really time? Was it really money? Those are the ones we always hear. It helped me see that sometimes it was just fear. Sometimes it felt like they were saying no, but they really weren't saying no. They were just saying, I need more information. And it helped me see the language that they were using and what were they actually afraid of. And so I used this to refine the sales page copy, to refine the checkout messaging, to refine everything. And the nurture emails that we were sending during launch got so many more open rates and click-through rates because they were built on real words from these real conversations. I wasn't guessing anymore. So one thing I want to be clear about, though, is this is not replacing me. AI does not replace my discernment, my true leadership, my intuition, but it is a really incredible mirror. So if you're serious about becoming a better coach, strengthening your program, improving those conversions, and creating smarter content, I want you to consider doing this in your business because I know all of those things are important to you too, just as they are to me. So if you run group programs like I do, you have one-to-one coaching, or maybe you host live trainings. For my free live Q&A, Ask Me Anything trainings that I do once a month, I analyze the call with ChatGPT in a project for that live Q&A. And again, it helps me see what was really going on in the room and what I can effectively say as a follow-up to all the sweet people that joined me on that call. If you do discovery calls for people to decide whether or not they're going to join your program or hire you one-to-one, if you run launches like I do, you're sitting on content and data gold. I do not want you to waste it. I want you to get it analyzed. I want you to refine from it, build from it. This is how you and I are going to get better faster and convert people into buyers or not faster. All right, my friend, I would love to know what you hear, how you feel about this video and this episode for my podcast. Send me a message and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And remember, don't go it alone. You hear me say this every single week. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days nobody can remember your name. And if you feel like you're alone in that, you are not, my friend. I want you to come join a community of support. That is going to make all the difference for you. My free Facebook group is open for you. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. Get visible, grow your email list and your income. You will find the link in the description notes and in the show notes for my podcast. And come join us. We have free networking sessions once a month. I do free live Q&As once a month. Ask me anything on a specific topic. They've been so much fun. Have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember, when one of us rises, we all rise. So that is why we have got to keep cheering each other on.